That was a quick transition, wasn't it? Okay, so new problem. What do you do when the new music's just so damn funky that you don't want to turn it off? First world problems. I've got to turn it off. Where do I turn it off? What's playing it? That's an even better question. There. Hello, welcome to Early Morning Barking live stream. There we go. Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? Right? Because the last few streams, right, what I used to do back in the days of podcasting, I would, like, we had an Icecast server or a Shoutcast server, and I'd just play my iTunes library. It didn't matter because no one could hear it and no one could turn it off. It was a completely self-hosted thing. And then this, if I play the wrong thing, they'll cut me off mid-show. So I just worked from the YouTube studio music library thing, which is royalty free. I'm trying not to cough, by the way. I really need to cough so much. I muted my cough. Yeah, the free music library is awful. It's awful. And so I would start every show with like classical music, and this was much better, but it costs money. So if anyone wants to send a super chat or anything like that, then that is very much appreciated. Because yeah, these things ain't free and all of that. But still, we've got, that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. Yeah. I don't know how this is going to go, right? I don't know how this is going to go. Feel free to chime in. Like I say, especially with super chats, so I see them and stuff, and we'll have a chat about this and see how it goes. Because, look, right, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a behavioral expert, I'm not really knowledgeable about many things to do with this and this person. And we're going to talk about Amber Heard. Because while I'm not a psychiatrist or a lawyer or a behavioral expert or any of those things, as we know, I am a narcissist watching a narcissist really make a mess of it. And it's quite intriguing. And there are lots of different angles to take with this and lots of things to talk about. And it's a bit random and a bit sort of all over the place, so it's why this is more suited to like a lengthy live stream than a coherent 10-minute video, which implies of course that my 10-minute videos are indeed coherent, which is not necessarily always the case, let's be perfectly honest. So I hope you're all well, and we'll just chat shit about this woman for an hour. Where to start? I mean, I kind of want to start with this, right? Where are we? Bear with me. I'm working a live stream, you know. Do you know that? This is where we're going here. Right, I want to... Let's just watch this. Because I know what this is. So this is as good a place as any to start. Oh, Amber, what did you just do? What did you just do there, honey? I think we saw that. Oh, that was... And then a sniff, and then a wipe. Yeah, that's not how I blow my nose. That's not how we do this, is it? And then we finish it off with a wipe. Without the tissue. That's what was the point of the tissue if you're going to do that. And this is really, to me, the most stunning part of all of it. I mean, how the hell do you get away with that? That is a ballsy move, isn't it? That is a... Wow. Where are we? Hang on. Yeah, I don't know what you do with that. So, okay. I had to just get that out there, because that one stuns me more than ever, that one. That one just... There's a lot in that there's a lot going on. Am I getting ahead of myself? I feel like I am. It's just that I've been dying to just show that and just be like, what the hell? What the hell? Like, you can do that. You can get away with that. Because I know what that, I think we all know what that is, don't we? I think we all know what we're looking at in that situation. And I'm just staggered by it. And I don't mean this is like any indictment of the American legal system or anything like that. It's just like, what the hell? And I can understand there might be reasons why Johnny Depp's legal team might not want to bring that up because, of course, it leaves them, as someone pointed out to me, it leaves him open to the question, well, let's test you as well. And maybe they don't want that. But at the same time, I feel like maybe shouldn't something be happening with that beyond either side's legal team? Like, isn't there some sort of like, isn't the court annoyed at this? Isn't that a thing? Isn't there a contempt of court if you're doing drugs on the stand? Is that not show contempt? But the whole thing is, so what do we think? We sort of think we're looking at somebody with BPD and MPD, right? Much like myself. Only Amber's had a very different life to me. It's fair to say. And so she'll have received different treatment in different contexts than I have, and had different things reinforced to me and that sort of thing, because she's Amber Heard, right? She's in movies. She's famous. She's got more money than me, to say the least, however much she's got. Maybe soon not much. But for now, she's probably doing better than me financially. And it's fair to say she's pretty good looking. She got Johnny Depp, right? Whatever you think of her. And at the end of the day, when this woman starts knocking it up all over the place, historically, who has told her no? Right? I've been told no a lot. As I imagine a lot of you have. But who's been telling Amber Heard no to various things? Or have people just been quite sycophantic and praising, and she'll have grown up with a lot of attention, and lived with a lot of attention and that sort of thing. There are lots of guys online ready to tell her that she's amazing and wonderful and brilliant and all of this. And on top of that, she seems very firmly ensconced in her situation, right? You know, I got to my narcissism through my BPD, where, yeah, there's narcissism there, but primarily I'm driven by BPD, and the way that was bringing me down and destroying me emotionally and all of that stuff that you get with BPD got me talking, got me into therapy, got me doing stuff and discussing things, and allowed me to sort of attack narcissism from the side. And that's how you get into it. And a lot of us don't have that treatment. That's why MPD is so hard to treat. Because we think we're fine, right? We think we're perfect. And Amber Heard has just had that reinforced. What, she seems very comfortable. It's not, is she gonna do group therapy after this? Probably not. I don't think she's been doing stuff. And she's had this prolonged period of attack. I assume she split on him, right? I assume that's what happened at some point, that they had their great relationship in the beginning because they got married. So obviously things were pretty good for a while, and then there came a time when they stopped being so good, and she's taking a shit in the bed, and that kind of thing. Or someone's taking a shit in the bed. Any is bad, I think, but anyway. Excuse me. Kind of lost my train of thought because I'm lost on the whole. Why do that? What was the point of that? Anyway. So there must have come a time where she went from being madly in love with Johnny Depp to wanting to destroy Johnny Depp, which sounds so much like a BPD split. I don't know. That is, surely it's that. Is there anything else that can cause such a massive shift in opinion and placement with people like a BPD split? That's clearly what happened to her. And that could be over absolutely anything, couldn't it? He's clearly not done anything major. And I mean, he's clearly not done anything at all, right? Look, I've seen enough of her doing stuff now, giving testimony, being on the stand and talking about it. I don't believe a single word she says. Everything is wrong about her. And I don't know where I get that from. Call it instinct, call it I'm picking up on something that is subconscious, whatever. But I don't believe a single word she says about anything. And I think it's because she's a terrible liar. And I feel like I'm quite a practiced liar. And quite... God, when I want to, I can just bullshit my way through anything. And she's getting it all wrong. She is the prime example of just because you're a narcissist and you want to sort of manipulate people and lie and get away with stuff doesn't mean you're any good at it. And she's sat there as a living example of this. It's quite crazy stuff. She's a terrible liar. She leaks so much and she's so clearly putting on a performance, which might speak to some of her performances in stuff. I mean, look, I hate to get onto that whole bandwagon of once you start dissing a celebrity, you like, and they're awful in everything they're in. I've always thought she was awful in everything she was in. I'm sorry. I've never had time for her as an actress. She's simply there. And she was very lucky to be able to latch onto somebody on the level of Johnny Depp. I don't know. I don't know that her career was going to go massively. Am I off base? Yeah, I'm digressing. I'm digressing. You have to keep me back on track with these things, chat room, please. Or at least where I'm going. I've already lost where I'm going. This is the beauty of live streams, isn't it? This is where I start to cut things out and then go back. Where was I? I know you're there. Anyway, Amber Heard. Yeah, she's a terrible liar. She leaks. And we've all seen the examples of it, right? You've seen the example of the glee. The delight of that I did a thing and got away with it. And she the little grin, the little side eye that she does. She leaks so much. And what she's made the mistake of doing, and I think she's had to do this because the story she's... Right, her lies are too complicated. They're far too complicated and far too detailed. And that's given opportunity for a good lawyer to sit and pull things apart because they can, because it's bullshit. And the way you generally avoid that, if you're trying to mislead people, the golden rule of lying is that you never say any more than is necessary. You say the absolute minimum that you need to. and you keep things as close to the actual truth as you possibly can. You lie as little as possible. And her things are like fantastical. It's not just, she could have just gone the line of Johnny hit her one time, right? There are many believable stories of domestic violence, and any would have been enough to really damage Johnny Depp. But she didn't do that. She has described some sort of inhuman monster, psychopath, torturing, evil villain dude that has abused her violently and horribly and psychologically and emotionally over a period of time. And it's just left the world going, what? The guy who dresses as a pirate and goes to children's hospitals. Okay. That's very odd. And I know, look, there's guys who do this sort of thing don't brag about it. It's always that very sort of, who would have guessed that that lovely quiet man would have done all those sorts of things. And that's perhaps what she's hinged a lot of stuff on with this. That she's hoping that will go the, well, he seemed lovely. Who'd have thought he could do this? Like we did with Rolf Harris, right? And to a much greater, lesser extent, other people. And it just went too far. It just went too far. And the stories that she's telling, like when she says he broke her nose. No, he didn't. No, he absolutely didn't. I mean, look. Let's look at Amber Heard's broken nose. That is an absolutely unbroken, perfect nose, right? That's ridiculous. That's absolutely insane. You know who has their, do you know who has had their nose broken a lot of times? Actor Owen Wilson. Let's find a picture of actor Owen Wilson's nose. There we go. It's all kinds of weird shapes. Oh, I can't make you big, Owen. But we know your nose has been broken. It goes in angles. That's what a broken nose looks like. It doesn't look like that. It's absurd claims. It's too far, it's too much, and it's too complicated. And she's left things in there that she just can't defend or support or back up or anything like that. She's gone too far with it. She's a terrible, terrible liar. And so because you can pick apart so much, then you have to pick it all apart. And she could have kept it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. And she didn't do that. And there's a whole lot of, like, did she think she would get away with it? Or did she have to make things more complicated than they needed to be because she was trying to concoct this story in which this guy who clearly hasn't done any of these things has done these things? So she's got to spin this story. She's got to create this tale. She's got to create this monster so that we'll all believe that he really did all these things to her. And as closely as possible, she's got to concoct that out of actual events, things that happened. So pictures of him asleep on the sofa and on a chair. That was just that was just crazy, that bit where they were going over photos that she'd submitted as evidence of him being passed out, and it's like, here's a picture of a guy in a chair. He's just sat down on holiday. Like, what is this? And the made up pictures of lines of coke on a table, that kind of thing. It's just so fantastical. It's so unbelievable. And she's got nothing to back it up whatsoever. And she's doubling down on it. She can't back out. She's got to go with it, right? Because again, if any of it turns out to be total rubbish, then you just start pulling apart. And it mostly it is all rubbish, so it's easily being done, and it's quite amusing to watch. She should have just kept it simple. That's the key to lying, right? And she hadn't learned this. I think she thinks she's just capable of getting away with it. That's why she has that glee and delight that we see. Like, she's toying. She's the cat with mice, playing with people, playing with their opinions. It's hers to toy with. But this is on an unhinged level. So very much. I mean, look, I've had falling outs. I've split on plenty of people in my life. And a lot of them I haven't made friends with again. Right? Some of them I have and we're fine and that's all good. But a lot of them no. And I don't intend to. But I'm not actively pursuing any sort of action about that. Right? It was done a long time ago. I fell out with people and that was it done with. I didn't then proceed to actually attempt to destroy these people. And I've been in that mood, right? I don't know if that's a BPD or an MPD or a mix of both. I think it's one where one amplifies the other, where I decide that someone is garbage, someone has hurt me in some way, and I need to destroy them. Whatever that means. I don't even know what that means. Which is clearly where Amber has gotten to with Johnny, right? She's decided, I need to destroy him. And she'll go as far as she can go without actually killing him. Right? But I've never hung on to those. Like, you have your moment of madness, you have your moment of anger and all of that, and you say some things you don't mean. And then you calm down and you never do anything about it. That's it. It's done with, right? I've had lots of that in my life. I'm sure you all have. But to continue to actively pursue one for 6 years, like she has with Johnny Depp, I can't relate to that at all. The malignancy in that, the amount of energy and passion that has to be poured into that to keep a hatred going that much against an individual who actually hasn't done any of these things to her. What is she so angry about? What I don't that's one thing that we don't really know, isn't it? Like, where does this all come from in the first place? What is the point of this? Because there's only a point to this for her if he actually did all those things to her, which I don't believe he did. If I'm wrong, if this goes the other way, I'm sorry, Amber. I'll take it all back if and when that's necessary, but for right now, I don't believe a word she said. You know, so how has she kept this up for 6 years? Pursuing one individual, being so angry at one individual for so long. I can't relate to that at all. It's a consuming thing. It's clearly destroying her life one way or another. She could have left everything well enough alone years ago. And now this continues. Now this is what she's known for. She's losing... I don't know. What's the state of her in Aquaman 2, right? It's not good. I think the last thing I read was that they'd edited her down to like 6 minutes or something like that. Because no one really wants to look at her, to be perfectly honest. And cutting Amber Heard out of your movie is up there in the good things to do with your movie, along with put a monkey in it. And that's a good rule, by the way. Any good movie is a great movie if you add a monkey. I've put myself off now. Yeah, entirely. Lost my train of thought just thinking about monkeys. that happens from time to time. They've got tails. Well, they're apes that don't. Um, Amber Heard, just a terrible liar who is, yeah, losing the Aquaman 2 thing. She's hurt herself with this. I mean, who's gonna? If you were casting your next blockbuster movie, are you thinking we need to get Amber Heard in on this one? Mind you, who was thinking that before? Right? I always felt that the roles she had were like roles where it pretty much just didn't matter who had those roles. Let's have a look. This is a bit of a tangent where I just slide off to slag off somebody's film career for no reason whatsoever. Do you know what? Because her film career has been better than mine. Oh, I don't know most of the right. Runaway pre-production. Just Amber Heard there. That won't go well. In the Fire. Is any of this big stuff? No, that doesn't feel too big. What are we doing here? Aquaman 2. Aquaman 1 was bloody awful. I absolutely hated Aquaman. Nearly called it Anchorman. Anchorman is a vastly superior movie. Is he bulletproof or not? What's the deal with that, by the way? Because he has to like dodge bullets and they shoot at him, but then sometimes someone goes to stab him and it's like, oh, you can't because his skin's extra hard because it's scaled. Like, what? Make up your mind, will you? Yeah, let's be honest. Getting with Johnny Depp helped her career a lot, probably. I remember her Criminal Minds. And so she's damaged that, right? She's gonna be pretty much untouchable now. For what? For what, right? What did the guy do? Really? That has sent her off on this? Because it's I honestly think we're at the point where her claims that she's made about some of the things he did are so big into it's like some of the stuff would have been so harmful that it would have been unavoidable for it to get in the public eye. If he'd have injured her, if he'd have done some of the stuff that she'd said, it would have caused injuries that would have hospitalized her for a very long time, if not possibly killed her. It wouldn't have been stuff that would have been quietly swept under the rug or gotten away with, right? He'd have been arrested for some of this stuff because it would have just been like, I mean, there's no need for me to go into detail. You can go and look it up. But it's just too far. So it's just too unbelievable. And the other thing I saw from her today, which is all too familiar with me, is the angry turn. I've done this and I've seen it. I've had it done to me. I've been in the room while it's happened and I've seen it happen with several people. And it's where someone with BPD and or MPD can go from any calm mood to extreme anger like that. And it to me, it's like it always happens. They always like turn at you, and it's something in their eyes. There's a look that you get that is just rage, furiousness in a single look, right? And I've seen that from Amber Heard on that stand. She did it today, right? I was watching it live earlier. She did it then. She was asked a question and she turned back from the jury towards the lawyer with that look. It was a whole body physical experience for her. Rage exploded inside her like a nuclear weapon going off at that lawyer. And it was kind of like if she didn't have to maintain her appearance and calmness, she'd have been out of that witness box, over the bar, and just like trying to kill that woman. It was that level of look. Like, why don't you die? And the only reason you're giving that look, the only reason why something like that is getting you that upset is when somebody has really touched a nerve. When that question that was asked was something that you really didn't want to talk about, where you are really backed into that corner and somebody just presses every button all at once and that rage just explodes. And she reined it in ish. She sort of pulled it back, but it was there. I saw it. I saw the turn. Because everything she said is to the jury as well. She's constantly like turning to the right because she's talking to the jury instead of answering the lawyer that's asking her questions, which is what I noticed Johnny Depp did. He had a conversation between him and the person that was talking to him. Whereas Amber Heard is having a conversation from the lawyer back to the jury. And what you're seeing is a dramatic performance. And the reason you can see it is because she's a shit actress. And she doesn't feel the emotions that she's trying to get across that she feels. That's, she acts crying, but she's not, right? She's not crying. There are no tears, her eyes aren't red. So many things. All of the physical indicators of crying aren't there because she's not, but she's acting it. And it's like a one-woman show for the jury. I hope that they can see it. It's pretty clear to me. I don't think I'm alone in that. I don't think I have any special skill that is picking up on that. She's just doing a performance. It's I'd like to say it's unlike anything I've ever seen, but I've seen films before, so it's exactly like a lot of things I've seen. It's just happening in real life. But we're watching a performance. We're watching a malignant narcissist rage. She's just bubbling with it. You can see it on her, can't you? It's not hidden. It's not deep. She really hates him for whatever reason. I'd love to know. I'm quite curious about that because he's not done he didn't break a nose, so she can't hate him for that. If he'd done that, she'd look like her nose had been broken, and the fact that I was on as I was watching it earlier. There's no evidence that you were ever treated for this. There's no doctor's notes. There's nothing. There's just you said you had a broken nose, and it's a really horrific injury, which is really obvious. And there's nothing. There's not a photo. There's not a witness. There's no one seen you like this. There's just all of the things that would be there if she'd done it aren't there. So he's clearly not done that. So what's she angry at him about? I'm really curious to know. I'm really curious to know. He's clearly so not a violent person. I can't even imagine it, to be honest. She's gone too far. That's why she's relying on a performance. She's relying on this idea that she will invoke sympathy. That she's someone who deserves sympathy because she's been through so much. That's her shtick. That's what she needs to get the jury to feel like. Oh, bless. That kind of thing. And I hope they can see how insincere she is. I mean, God, if they can, they won't need much to decide against her. They really won't. Because it's just so obvious, isn't it? It's just kind of so obvious. I'm interested to see where it goes. It's been. I don't really care one way or another about celebrity gossip stuff. I don't care who Johnny Depp is married to or how well that's going or whatever. I don't wish the man harm individually, but honestly, I've got my own stuff to worry about, and I'm sure he's got his stuff and doesn't worry about me. So I don't worry about him. But this has been very interesting from a human behavior psychology point of view. Of just getting to watch somebody unravel from this web of lies they've had to concoct. But God knows what reason. She's just done this. And I don't get it. Like, at any point, couldn't she just have left Johnny Depp? I don't know. I mean, it's easy to talk about, right? It's difficult for women who live through domestic violence to leave their partners. But we're not talking about women here. We're talking about Amber Heard. Multi-millionaire Amber Heard. Star of DC comic book movies Amber Heard. Working actress Amber Heard. We're not talking about a mother of several who hasn't worked for a long time, stuck in a house with nowhere to go and no resources and that kind of thing. We're talking about somebody who moved around freely, had a lot of stuff, who had ample opportunities to leave her living situation if it was so bad that you had to take a shit in a bed. Why did she do that? Why, like, even if it was, right, from what I gather, it was like her friend's poo. And they're saying now that it was the dog poo from a very small dog. Um, dog owners will know how different from human poo dog poo actually is. And you'll also know that in order to produce a dog poo that even comes close to remotely looking like human poo, you need quite a sizable dog. It's not a small put goes in your handbag dog like she's saying it is. They make little poo because they're little dogs. This doesn't take David Attenborough to figure it out, right? Big animals, big poo. Little animals, tiny poo. Humans are somewhere in the middle, right? And so you need a fairly sizable dog. Her dog did not do that poo. You don't mistake dog poo for human poo. This is the most I've ever said poo in any video, and I'm quite enjoying saying poo. I'm going to stop now. But I don't know why. Why do that? Why do a poo in a bed? I've had arguments in relationships, right? I've had times of screaming and raging and getting upset, slamming doors, storming off, saying things you don't mean, whatever. And not once has it occurred to me to have a poo in a bed. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what her strategy was with that. It's so unusual. It's so out there. Which is something else that further reinforces all the other stuff and it being made up or fantastical and over the top and just totally unbelievable, right? Why would you have a poo in a bed? I'm assuming not to be productive, right? At that point, you're not trying to win the high ground on your argument, are you? You're just trying to upset somebody. It's an interesting way to go, I suppose. It's an interesting way to go. I never would have thought of it myself. Odd if it was a friend as well. Traditionally, I've noticed friends don't like to get involved in couples' arguments. They don't offer to come round and poo in beds. Maybe I've got terrible friends. Maybe that's what the problem is. I need better friends. Are your friends the kind of people who would offer to poo in your wife or husband's bed? Because if not, they're not your real friends. They say they are, but, you know, would they take a bullet for you? Would they help you move? Would they poo in your husband's bed? To make a point about something? I don't know why. It's not a great technique for winning arguments, and it didn't do well for her, and it created another thing that she had to explain away and deal with. And we're at a point where I feel bad for her to a certain extent. She's doing bad shit. She's hurting someone a lot, right? She's clearly on a long tirade, and she is setting out to destroy this guy. And we sat talking about her like she's doing it because she's got BPD, she's got MPD, and this is how it's playing out for her. And it's playing out on the world stage, live on YouTube. Right? We've all had our moments. I know I have, and they weren't streamed live on the internet. Some of them might have been in the past, but not all of them, and certainly not on video and not from court. And I can only imagine this would feel horrible. Like, is she ever gonna do anything about this? Is she ever gonna get over this and deal with her problems? And if she does, dealing with the responsibility of this is gonna be a hell of a thing to go through. You know, that talking about how you feel all that guilt and shame of all the stuff that you realize you've done over the years. This is quite a big one to live with and put up with. And I'm starting to feel bad for her. She's destroying her life. She's destroying other people's lives. We don't know why. And it's such a shame that she's not getting help she needs. She's not getting support. She's not going to get support because she's famous. She's good looking. She thinks she's fine, probably. And no one's going to tell her otherwise. That she has to listen to. I'm sure Johnny Depp has told her more than once. But by and large, people that she wants to listen to and will value the opinion of, no way. Just no way. I'm going to cough again. So how does this end for her? I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Because she's not super rich, right? She's not got all the money in the world. And if she loses this court case, she's going to have, money like me. And feel free to drop me a super chat, by the way. Thank you for that. And help me have Amber Heard levels of money. And so she's just done all this. She's really poorly, clearly. It feels, to a certain extent, almost unjust that she can just do all of this and be so obviously mentally ill. Am I overstepping the mark? Is she so obviously mentally ill? I mean, no. Yeah, I'm way off on that, actually. on that train of thought. There's a reason why people undergo psychological assessment. There's a reason why it takes time to diagnose things and why some things are never actually officially diagnosed. And to have somebody just observed in an environment like a courtroom and decide what they've got and be able to treat them accordingly, that's very difficult, if not impossible to do and reinforce. And oh, thank you for a super chat, Amber Heard Support Fund. Then she can just, where does this end for her? Just in a trailer park somewhere? When she can't get work, when no one wants to, when you can't get Elon Musk into bed anymore and that kind of thing. Like, where does this end for Amber Heard? When is she gonna get help? And in that case, I on that level, I feel bad for her. I worry for her like I would anybody with a mental health condition that isn't going to get help for it. She's still responsible for these things. But the more I think about it, I don't know. But this is just, I, I'd love an honest conversation with her that would be impossible. I'd love to ask a lot of questions that I don't know that she's capable of answering one way or another, either from the point of view of genuinely not remembering things or not separating what she's made up from the truth, but also not being able to, in the sense that she couldn't really say the truth out loud. Like, there are certain things I find it hard to say the truth out loud. And if this is, could she have a frank and honest conversation? Is there someone that genuinely knows the answer to my questions apart from her? I doubt it. Like, why? Why all of this? Why not stop at any moment? Before now. I mean, obviously, she reaches a point where she can't stop now, but why? I don't think she could tell me. I don't think she's capable of that. When I think back to times I've split on people, the people I got the most angry at, the people that I raged at the most, the question that always screwed me up was why? Or did that take a little while to come in? Because you sort of, in my case, I perceived harm from other people. I decided that they'd done things that they probably haven't done. But the difference, and that is very similar to what she's saying. She's getting upset about things that she's saying somebody's done. But mine were born out of sort of deciding motives of people, deciding why they did particular things and that they did particular things and that sort of thing. It was all very social, very political, that sort of thing. I never had to insist that someone had hit me or been violent towards me. I never needed that physical evidence backing it up. And that's the big difference. She's gone off on a totally different thing. You see, when I split on people, I convinced myself that I was right because I convinced myself of their motivations and that they're the things that they did and that sort of thing. I didn't necessarily break from reality in terms of what happened, but I might have broken from it in terms of motivations. Whereas she's broken from reality if she really thinks these things have happened. But she'll know they haven't. So what's she doing? Can that really be... Am I making sense with that, by the way? I know what I'm trying to say. It's very... she knows these physical events haven't taken place. So how can she just be wrong about them? She's not misinterpreting an action or motivation or something like that because there was no action that occurred. So what is she splitting about and why is it continuing? Why does it go on? Why is she so focused on one person that she hates so much? I'd love to know. I feel like I'm just rambling a bit now, but yeah, I don't believe anything she says when you just watch her at work. It's a performance. And it's bugging me. So it was really annoying me how much she wasn't answering the question she was asked or addressing the person who was speaking to her. It was like watching a one woman show of distraught victim. And they were asked her, do you want to be seen as a victim? She's like, no, I don't want to be seen as a victim. Like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. You so do. That's what this all hinges on. She has to be a victim. She has to be this poor damsel in distress that was abused by this foul monster, Johnny Depp. And she's trying to make this case out of this guy who's so quiet and so well liked by people who know him. This is the other thing. It's not just idle speculation. Poor Amber, poor both of them. She's in total meltdown. And I do wonder where it's going. I do wonder where this ends for her. I don't see it ending well. That's for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it in some way involved drugs as well. Maybe I'm being a bit mean to her. Um, yeah. Coming from the chat, she doesn't have pictures of things, or sorry, the fact that she has pictures. As someone who's been abused in the past by someone I was taking pictures wasn't my first priority. Covering for it was. It's she doesn't have. When you look at the pictures she's got, it's not pictures of what she's saying. It's pictures of. And it's not like you have to work hard and sort of. That's not being overly harsh on her. Like it's you show a picture of like here's what he did, here's the damage that was done when he hit her, and you look at the picture and like seriously, where's any damage? That's just a picture of you, surely. It's that level of thing. It's not like she's messed up and you got, well, we don't know from that photo that he did that and all that. There's nothing to sort of explain away. There's just it's so very odd and unbelievable. It's not really odd though. Um, it's not really odd. She's just pushing her luck, and she's already gone too far. It's gonna be picked apart, and like I say, I worry for her in terms of where it will go, because I don't know what the falling apart of this feels like. This is such a big thing. This is her entire life now, her entire identity, and her livelihood going forward depends on the outcome of all of this. So when it goes wrong, what does that feel like to lose that much based on an MPD/BPD style rage? Because I've lost stuff before. We all have, right? We've had those arguments and the people that won't talk to us anymore, the relationships we lost, that sort of thing. That's happened, but this is everything for her. That's a long way to fall down and a lot of steps to hit on the way. It must be terrifying. It must be terrifying, right? It must just be so much to bear. I'd just love to know why. I bet she would. It's one of those things. Maybe she'd love to know why, just as much as me. Um, I hope she gets it back together. gets herself together, because this isn't going to end well for her. And she's just put someone through hell for years. It's just, I don't understand that. I mean, such malignancy that I've never experienced. I've never come close to it. You know, I don't think about all the people that I've fallen out with on a day-to-day basis. I don't pursue that. I don't do anything about it. Life's too short, right? So, but Amber, oh, she's away with it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there now because it's very late and I think I'm just rambling now. I hope you enjoyed the live stream and thank you for sticking around this far. I do enjoy doing these. So they're live every Monday night. I'm starting to get into the idea of doing a Thursday night one as well, but we'll see how it goes. I want to kind of just get these up and rolling and stuff like that. I know I had a couple of weeks of shakiness, but we're here now, aren't we? It's good. And it's good seeing more of you turn up. I am enjoying doing these very much indeed. So don't forget, go on over to Patreon for me as well. Patreon.com/earlymorningbarking, and there's extra videos in there that you won't have seen if you're not a member. I'm thinking of doing a YouTube membership thing as well, but I don't know how to deal with having a Patreon and a YouTube membership. I don't like the idea of having two things. I don't know why I'm telling you this now. This is just the rambling bit where my mind's going and that sort of thing. So coming over to Patreon, I want to get enough people in the Discord that there's lots more rolling chat and that sort of thing. And it'd be great to see you all on live streams. And let me know what you think about doing an extra one in the week. Any kind of feedback is always good and welcome and that sort of thing. So anyway, thank you for making it through this far. I'll be back with another live stream and another video later. You take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.